Good Thursday morning to you all. We got another Watchmen update. Major wildfires in New Jersey, 0% contained. Thousands of evacuated families are on the roads right now. Major prayers going out to them right now. Apparently, a China trade deal on the tariffs hasn't even begun, hasn't hit the negotiation stage. Apparently not even talking. Universities now, due to an executive order, are going to be required to disclose when they get large donations from foreigners, countries, organizations, and individuals. And the protests are here. We've been saying that once it warmed up that we're going to see a lot more protests. Well, they have begun, and they may turn into more. The latest coming right at you. We got fleas in the chickens. We got empty chicken cans. We got missing pasta at stores, soap, and more. All of these reports coming for you from the Watchmen community. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in from all over. If you have something to share with the group, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment. That gets it to the right place. Thank you so much for all of you being part of the Watchmen community. If you have something that you're sharing, make sure you're giving us a geographical location if that's relevant there. And just appreciate you all being so faithful in sending in those reports. A lot of you guys depend on these reports. Before we go any further, we do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help make all this all possible. If you have a retirement account and you want to get out of stocks and get out of bonds and other risky investments and get your retirement secure, well, they can talk to you about what it would look like to get it stabilized in gold, silver, or platinum. If you want to find out more, there'll be a link at the end of the video. All right, a major earthquake, 6.2 powerful magnitude earthquake off Istanbul's coast. This is one of the world's cities, and we're talking about some of the buildings and such were damaged by this. We're still seeing what this looks like there, but it doesn't look too bad, not like what we saw like in Syria or in other places where there's massive devastation. But it is a major quake, and it did come pretty close to a major city. Woke protesters across the United States have decided to start beginning their insurrection. Are we allowed to say that word? Apparently we are again. Anyway, they are starting their season of chaos. And all it's going to take is them to have something to get upset about. But they're practicing right now. Columbia University will have encampments protesting the Israeli police action in Gaza. So that's a thing. President Trump signed some executive orders yesterday, including an order requiring colleges such as Columbia University to disclose all these donations that they're getting, from China. You know how like China has been pushing its propaganda in the universities and making sizable contributions in order to see those programs funded. They need to start disclosing that stuff because they can't be financially beholden to foreigners and then at the same time pretend like they're operating in the general good for the United States. That's a requirement for being a nonprofit, is you have to act for the common good. And if you're acting on behalf of foreign state actors to do things to undermine the United States government and United States people, that's not like that. No. All right. After the ceasefire ended for Easter and peace talks have imploded, both Russia and Ukraine launched massive, large-scale drone and missile attacks on each other. Details are sketchy, but it seems like it's a major attack both ways. Some videos getting posted and such of explosions in downtown Kiev and other cities in Western Russia. I almost said Eastern Russia, but that wouldn't make any sense. That would mean like Alaska's attacking them. Sarah Palin. We haven't heard from her in a while, so I knew she was up to something. Anyway, China. pressures South Korea to limit rare earth mineral product exports to the United States as well. Now, some of these are exports from China. China is exporting them to South Korea, and they're basically saying you can't re-export them to the United States no matter how badly they want them. Rare earth minerals, a lot of them are used in high-tech applications, chips, as well as, like even something as simple as your smartphone. The glass, the really tempered, fancy glass that doesn't break very easily, that has rare earth minerals in it. And any kind of like heavy-duty magnets, permanent magnets, are generally rare earth minerals. Now, a lot of the cheap magnets, you can demagnetize them because they're just steel or ceramic, but the actual real magnets, those are made from rare earth minerals. All right, and they're used for electric cars, any kind of motors, high-powered motors, and gyroscopes and stuff like that. So, thousands of people being evacuated in New Jersey as wildfires spread there. We're getting a lot of big reports out of that, a lot of damage and devastation there. This is a report from one of the Watchmen. Shore Skeptic says, we've got a wildfire here in Ocean County, New Jersey. 1,200 acres, 0% contain the Oyster Creek Nuclear Power Station, albeit it is in the decommissioning phase, is due east of the fire's path. We have a lot of impacts out there, and some of our good folks live out that direction. Jen says, Northern Maine. Grocery store manager here changed the prices on coffee yesterday. Folgers went from $9.99 to $12.69. We've been warning you, friends, and it's going to keep going. So if you see it and you need to stock up, now's the time to get stocked up. Look for a good deal, but get stocked up. It was not on sale previously, and this is the largest increase on anything at one time I have seen in the past few years. Just wait until you see what they do with beef. Beef prices are about to go through the roof. Randy says, since Hurricane Helene came through, we have been fighting stick-tight fleas on our chickens in north central Florida. Never seen or heard of them before that hurricane. The lady at the farmer's co-op said she has heard the same thing from different chicken keepers. Seems like a never-ending battle. Friends, if you're like, I'm just going to get some chickens and that's going to solve all of our problems, or someone's like, we're just going to get some seeds and we're going to start a garden. That's what we're going to do. If you don't have any experience raising chickens, if you don't have any experience gardening, there is a learning curve. Now, chickens are about as easy as you can get with animals, but there's still a learning curve. I lost all of my chickens because some raccoons decided to take them and some hawks decided to take their share. And I had mine killed off with pests or predators got mine. So protect them well and make sure you know about the diseases that they're predisposed to and what to do to treat them. Make sure you understand kind of what you're getting yourself into and know what to do, because it will save you some heartbreak and some frustration. And of course, you get attached to your chickens or your garden, and it'll break your heart if you fail, right? This is from Dawn in San Diego, California. They had the weird chicken with the stringy spaghetti insides since last August, and so I have refused to buy out here. Well, it's not necessarily a regional thing. It is more of a quality thing. I think it really comes down to the individual bird. Some people speculating it might be freezer burn, but I've seen some of you guys have sent me pictures of it, and it's like the bird had some genetic defects or something like that. It wasn't like, just didn't have any muscle on that side of the chicken. It's just really crazy. These chickens get shoved in those little boxes. So Colorado Pack Rat Prepper says, I just opened a 5-ounce can of Kreider chicken for sandwiches. I bought it at a Dollar Tree a couple weeks ago, 2 cans. Cracked open the top to drain liquid, a lot of liquid. And it turned out it was only liquid. When I popped the top completely open, the freaking can was completely empty. No meat at all. Not one chunk. Nothing. Seriously, completely empty, like I had rinsed it out. And the juice stunk real bad. The cat even wouldn't drink it. Haven't opened the other can that I bought yet. So, in production, that happens sometimes. That does happen. Monica says, if you need garden supplies, do not wait. Get your supplies now. I just visited with a large hydroponic gardening retailer in Phoenix, Arizona. Orders are on back order and the prices are increasing. Heidi says, I often go to Walmart and the now much smaller dry pasta section last night was almost empty, dry pasta. Spaghetti and other pasta shapes are absolutely basic at my home because they are cheap and there are a million different ways to prepare them. Yes, there's definitely much food at the stores, but we also continue to see the much talked about issue of less variety and empty spaces here and there. Indeed, and we're about to see them get a whole lot worse with these tariff issues and with the supply chain disruptions. I just talked about them yesterday, that the amount of shipping containers that are coming to the U.S. are dropping dramatically. We're seeing a lot less product now. We got a little bit of a ramp up on this supply chain disruption, so there has been a bunch of stuff that came over early, but if it doesn't change soon, we're going to start seeing some unprecedented issues at our stores. Rodba says, Northern California, Walmart, no white vinegar for over a week now. That is concerning. Of course, white vinegar used for so many different things, from cleaning applications to cooking to canning. We've been seeing some on-again issues with vinegar. Jesus and Coffee says, tip, Steve mentioned stocking up on soap because of much of it coming from China. I bought 4 large bottles of generic dish soap. But here's the tip. When my pump soap bottles run empty, I fill them 1/4 or less with the dish soap. And then the rest add water. Shake well. I use them for hand soap. But, you know, if you're hand washing your dishes like I do, you take your soap and you put it on the sponge, right? But you put like a bunch, and then like the first couple swipes is just like all soap, right? Until you get down a little bit, until you get to kind of the sweet spot of how much soap you really need in there. If you water down your dish soap a little bit, it just goes further. It just goes further. So think about that when you're doing your dish soap. Spread it out so you're not using more than you need to. One of the best ways to save money is just use less stuff, right? I'm not saying go crazy, but just watering down your dish soap and watering down other things can really extend the life on things. But if you run out of shower gel and bar soap, you can also use this dish soap in the shower. As long as your significant other is okay with you smelling like dish soap. Anyway, Jim Bohr says, you mentioned many times about freeze-dried coffee for the prepper pantry. I wanted you to know that I have a jar of Nescafe freeze-dried coffee. We call it instant coffee, right? That's how they usually market it, instant coffee, but it is freeze-dried. So this Nescafe has been kept in the freezer, opened with the lid on, but the seal I had broken 26 years ago. They've been working on that the can of instant coffee for 26 years in the freezer. I had some this morning, and it tasted real good, and was as fresh as when I got the first jar and opened it. I tried a spoonful again, from 26 years ago. I've kept it in the freezer for that length of time. I'm sure that if the seal wasn't broken and it was kept on the shelf of a prepper pantry, it would be fine. Your idea of for freeze-dried coffee not only makes sense, but there's some wisdom in there as well. Of course, I have to admit, most of my ideas are not original to me. I watch all the prepper channels too, right? So I'm watching their handy tips and some. I have some channels that I'm a little more prejudiced towards, because I like the content and they really have some great tips and tricks out there. I wouldn't want to say I watch these guys or those guys over anyone else, but there's only so much time to go around. But I learn a lot of stuff from a lot of the prepping channels out there, and super appreciate people sharing their wisdom, and I get a lot of information from you guys as well. Yankee Mom says, about the Keystone ground beef, the canned stuff, right? I don't buy it personally, but I can a lot of meat that I eat. Beef, turkey, pork, chicken, venison. All really smell awful when canned. My kids would always dread it. And I'm thinking it's because during the canning, the meats release compounds like sulfur. All canned meats smell. Heat up and go from there. If the can wasn't dented, rusted, or bulging, you're probably just smelling normal smells. It took me a while to get used to both the canning smells and opening the jars. I've been doing it for over 30 years now. And that's a lot of our experience out there too. You open up the can of canned ground beef or canned beef, and you're just like, that does not look good. Who here has opened up an MRE, looked in an MRE and went, that doesn't look good. You heat it up and suddenly you're like, wait, this actually tastes half decent, when you heat it up, right? It tastes completely different. A lot of stuff does taste different when it's been heated up. So definitely don't throw that stuff out until you heat it up, right? All right. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to get another video in, there's one right up here. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.